Logging your food inside the Carb Manager app is easy when you know how to do it. And if you do it, if you log your food, you will reach your health goals. I believe that from the bottom of my heart. I was diagnosed with 9 tumors, and through diet and nutrition in just 2 years, I've gone to 1 tumor, and it's barely metabolically active. They can barely even see it on a scan. Here's what I want to tell you. Log your food, get good at eating. This is the new skill, and it can be hard. Tracking your food can be crazy. It's like some of your food is this, right? And it's like, okay, your ingredients are on the back, but then some of your food is this and your ingredients are there, but you're not gonna eat a whole can of olives, man. And then some of your food is just like an avocado. And so you gotta sort of know how to track this food before you eat it, so that tracking your food is easy and you like it, and you can log in to your Carb Manager account and you can see that you're hitting your goals. So once you've downloaded the app and put in your goals, then every time you open the app, it's gonna show you the current day and what your eating looks like. Notice how this day is totally gray. That's because I haven't logged any food for the day, and I'm gonna show you how to do that right now. So first thing let's go to breakfast. I do intermittent fasting. I don't eat much, but I do have coffee and I do put MCT oil in it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click on add breakfast. You can see coffee right here. If you don't see coffee, you just go coffee, right? You just go to the search bar. And what's gonna happen is it's gonna give you a bunch of suggestions. What you wanna do is choose the suggestion that best meets your coffee specifics. Like, it's very unlikely that they're gonna know the caloric breakdown of the coffee that you got from this store that's only in your town or state, all right? That is not as important. Coffee is a 0-calorie food, so you just wanna have something to build the habit of inputting food. So I'm gonna go coffee prepared from grounds, because that's what we do, and I'm gonna tap on it. When I tap on it, I can see all the macros of that food, and I can do a couple different things. Notice the heart at the top. I heart it to add it to favorites, because I drink coffee all the time. If you love coffee, let me know in the comment section, because you and I share that. But I can also look at the amount of coffee, right? What am I measuring with my coffee? Is it a teaspoon, a tablespoon? In this case, it's a cup. We actually, and if you're drinking, this might actually be 2 cups. So you gotta be honest with yourself. This is like a rare thing for me. I rarely drink this much. We have 8-ounce mugs in the house so that we drink 8 ounces of coffee in the morning. Times 2 cups, and we track that. So let's just go with 2 cups so we don't start off by lying to Carb Manager. And then I'm gonna show you something else that's really neat. Now, you don't have to do this, but if you drink coffee every day and you're gonna put creamer in it every day, for the most part, click on Show Advanced. And when you do that, you get these options. It says repeat none, tap on that, and put every day. Now that it says time 3:17, I'm actually gonna change that to 8 a.m. And when you do that, coffee will automatically appear in your breakfast every single day. You still have to tap to accept it. But if you're doing something every single day, you can just put that in here as a recurring meal. Every day repeats at whatever time, 8:27 a.m. or whatever, and it will show up every single day. So we'll add that, and we're back on this screen. I'm gonna click the X again, and I'm back on my food. Notice that my coffee is there, but it's light, it's faded out because I have to accept it, right? I auto added it to my food every day, but now I have to accept that. So I'm just gonna tap add to log, and boom, my 2 cups of coffee is right there. So a big part of logging your food is setting up the foods you eat over and over again. Like, I eat spinach all the time. So that's set up as a favorite, and I might have it set up for an everyday recurrence where I just tap it to log it, or you swipe if you want to delete it, okay? Let's go into creamer. And again, this is a little bit gnarly here because you should be tracking your creamer. For example, I'm gonna just type in, let me just type in creamer again and show you guys something. So I was on vacation and I didn't have the option of my 0-calorie almond milk creamer. So I got this Coffee Mate Original single serve cup. I got one of those in my coffee, and I wanted to know how badly I was throwing off my macros. 4 carbs in one of those little coffee mates. So part of logging food is learning food and knowing what foods you should just not eat. Just drink your coffee black as I did. So I want you guys to track your cream. Now, I don't use creamer. I use MCT oil. MCT oil is a keto supplement. It's made from coconuts. It's absolutely amazing. So I'm gonna select MCT oil and I'm gonna tap on it. So I'm on the MCT oil page, and notice I have it marked as a favorite so that I can easily add it over and over again. Notice that it says keto grade friendly. That's the keto tags that we talked about in the setup video. So if you don't see that, you got to go back and watch the setup video, which we'll put a link to it on this video somewhere. Okay, but notice I can get all of my macros on this 1 tablespoon of MCT oil. 0 carbs, 0 protein, 14 grams of fat, and 116 calories. That's a very calorie dense, high fat food. So perfect for beating cancer, perfect for reversing diabetes, and just so many other health ailments. So I'm gonna press Save Changes. And there it is. It appears under my breakfast, MCT oil and 2 cups of coffee. That's what my breakfast looks like. Down at the bottom, I can see totals, net carbs for the breakfast meal, right? Protein for the breakfast meal. All of those calculations are bundled up for you right there. And that's key, because as you go through your diet, you are gonna find foods that you love. And as you find those foods, you should eat them until you're tired of them, so that tracking your meals becomes simple. All right, so let's take it up a notch with lunch. Now, maybe you skip lunch, maybe you eat lunch at dinner time. Look, all of that stuff you can customize. Let's just kind of go with the flow here, because I want to show you how to add something like an avocado. This can be a little bit tricky, or spinach, okay? Because it's gonna ask you for measurements, and not everybody knows measurements. One thing I would recommend is get a food scale and get into the habit of putting a handful of spinach on the food scale and seeing how much it weighs. Like, I know that that's about 5 ounces, and I know that from doing that. So when I add my spinach meals, I can just say it's 5 ounces, and maybe it's 6, right? Like, give yourself a little grace here. Like, you're not gonna get it scientifically right every time. I don't believe you should have to carry a food scale with you everywhere you go, right? But get one, learn what some of your favorite foods weigh, like the measurement amounts. That way, when you input food, it can be very, very simple. So for example, today I had spinach and I had mushrooms fried up in a pan with some butter. So there's a couple different ways that I can add that. Number one is I can go spinach. And I'm gonna get all of these options, right? And sometimes it's gonna be so frustrating to find your option. But I'm gonna go spinach 1 ounce. I'm actually gonna increase that to 5 ounces of spinach, where my net carbs come up, okay? So spinach, by the way, is very high protein, it's very low carb, and it's good carbs too. It's not the same as a piece of bread. So I got 2 net carbs, I've got 4 grams of protein, I've got 1 gram of fat. You can see the macros there. I can see that it's 5 ounces, and I can add that to my lunch where it will appear. And then I could go ahead and add, it was about a tablespoon or 2 of butter. And then it's probably a tablespoon of minced garlic. And then I had some mushrooms in there. So I can either add those things one at a time, or I can create a custom meal. And that's what I want to encourage you to do. I want to encourage you to create a custom meal where you put all 4 or 5 of those ingredients in at one time, and then you eat that food over and over again. And when you add the food, you simply add the meal. Let me show you how to do that right now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna delete the spinach by swiping left, and I get all these options. I can edit this, I can copy this, and I can remove this, okay? So now my lunch is clear. But before I can log the meal, I actually have to create the meal in the app. So what I'm gonna do is click on the meals menu button down here at the bottom, and I'm gonna click on create at the top. Now it gives me a couple different options here. Create custom food. Like this is kind of a good feature too, but we're not gonna talk about it in this video. Create recipe, that's not bad, but create a meal. That's where I really want you today. So we're gonna click on create a meal, and you can add a photo of it. You can take a picture of your breakfast if you want to. For the meal name, we'll call it like spinach and mushrooms. But you can also come up with fun names like Jim Spinach Special or whatever you want. And here's the crazy thing, servings per meal, right? This is where you have to recognize how many people got fed. So I recommend doing this off of like a 1-person serving. So like 1 meal, 1 serving, right? But if you were to make like a big pot of soup and you were able to get 8 bowls of soup out of that meal, well, then you might want to put 8 servings per 1 meal. Does that make sense? So this is how this app can really help you dial your favorite foods in. But it might take a little bit of setting up. For this episode, I want you to focus on like 1 meal, 1 serving, okay? Serving size is gonna be, we're just gonna call it a serving, so skip that. Weight per serving, we're gonna skip that. But now we're gonna add foods. So I'm gonna add spinach, 5 ounces. Boom, added. Now I'm gonna add the butter. And then there it is, it appears right there. So I'm gonna tap on that. I'll see the food guide here. I'm actually gonna tap the heart as favorite because I use this butter a lot. And then I'm gonna make sure that the settings are right. Yeah, about 2 tablespoons. But you know, as a keto guy, I can eat kind of as much butter as I want. So I'm actually gonna go 3 tablespoons. That way, if I want to indulge a little, I can indulge a little. So I'm gonna click add. Now, the next thing I wanna do is add my mushrooms and my minced garlic. So I'll type in mushrooms and you're gonna get portobello, white. You could type in the exact mushrooms you use and how many you used. And then I'm gonna go look for minced garlic. But I'm gonna show you something really cool here that works with some of this stuff that you can buy in the store. So let's say that I type on minced garlic, but I don't see the minced garlic that I'm using right here, right? Minced garlic. What you can do is actually click on the scan button at the top. And what'll happen is this scanner sort of pops out and I can scan the barcode here and it will actually find me the registered food and all the correct stats for it. Now, this may not work for like those chocolate covered crickets that you bought in the Needles gas station on your way to Vegas or whatever. Not every food is gonna be registered, but if you bought it at Kroger, if you bought it at Safeway, chances are it's gonna be in this system. So this is about right. I use about a teaspoon of that. I'm gonna click add. And now I've made my food, so I'm gonna click done. And all of my foods are there. My spinach, my butter, my mushrooms, and my minced California garlic. Plus, I can see the meal totals. Look at that. 4 carbohydrates, 323 calories. This is a delicious, nutritious meal. And I'll click save. Now, when I save it, like again, it's showing you a place for a picture. You can add a picture of it. And I do that for some of my recipes. But you can also categorize it. You can create different categories for yourself. But as you start adding friends, Carb Manager has a social component. You can start adding friends and being in contests and stuff. They can see your recipes too. So if you want to add me as a friend on Carb Manager, you can do that right now. Just find me on the app and then you can look at all of my recipes and use them, right? Like I want you to get healthier and that's the goal of this app. So we have a couple different categories here. Drinks, we have my keto foods. Restaurants, like when we have cheat days at restaurants, we actually will find like the French fries or the burger, and that way I know what I ate. You don't have to do that. Look, I get nerdy with this kind of stuff. I kind of want to know what a Red Robin burger is going to do to my body, and in many cases, it might encourage me to get a salad. Anyway, you have those categories there, so use that as you need to. I'm going to click Create Meal, okay? The meal is created and it's called spinach and mushrooms. So now when you eat that meal, okay, I can click add and I can add it to lunch, right? You can add it to any of these sections here. I click add. I'm gonna go back to my daily log and I can see the coffee and the MCT oil from this morning, and I can see the spinach and the mushroom meal that I just added. And I can add it to dinner. Let's go to dinner. Let's say I have the same thing for dinner. Boom, there it is under recently viewed spinach and mushroom. I can add it again, all 4 recipes really, really quick. So imagine the value of being able to create these very nutritious meals for your program, whether it's keto or vegan or keto vegan, and having it at the push of a button at your fingertips. So I tap back and I X out and I'm back on my daily tracker where I can see, this looks a little bit gnarly, but if you're like a keto nut, like this is kind of what you want. You want like a lot of fat and some protein and not a lot of carbs. But I can see here that my coffee, my MCT oil, and my spinach and mushroom lunch have all been added. I can see that my lunch was about 323 calories. I can see that breakfast was about 121 calories. And I can still add place for dinner and for snacks. So if I wanted to have, some of this granola as a snack, let me show you something that you can do here is look at the serving sizes on the back. So when you have a snack and you've got this bag, look on the back. This one says a serving size is 1/3 cup. So I would use your measuring cup and get 1/3 out and put it in a bowl. Do you want a second one? Boom, then it's 2/3. And now when you track that food, you simply put 2 servings and all the numbers come into play. It's so much harder if you just pour this in a bowl and you guess. Like that's no way to manage your food. Go to the dollar store and get like 5 sets of teaspoons and cups so that they're everywhere. When I grew up, there was like 1 set of measuring cups in the house. And if the half cup was gone, it was like a nightmare. Like nobody could make anything, right? So when I got to be in this place where I'm measuring my food, we just bought a whole bunch of measuring cups and a whole bunch of measuring spoons. And so they're in all the drawers so that we can measure our food, track it with ease, and get the health results that we want. Now, one of my favorite parts of the Carb Manager app are the recipes. I have found recipes that are keto vegan on this app that I still eat to this day. So I'm gonna show you how the recipes work because they're different than meals and how you can actually go find recipes, make them, and then easily track them with the app. Watch that video next. I'm Owen and I'll see you there.